welcome to the channel. Switching things up back to the old stomping grounds. It's time to resurrect the masculinity that was killed in a lot of us as young boys, that was never instilled, that was murdered before we even got a chance to have it come to fruition, come alive. Most of us in society, I can speak for myself, we were raised by women, right? Father goes off to work. You're mostly raised by your mother, right? We're raised by mostly women school teachers. Just surrounded by mostly women during our upbringing. And so in today's day and age, there's a lot of lacking of examples of what it means to be strong masculine men. Thankfully, this is changing. We're on the come up. There's been a lot of a revival happening, right, within the sphere, the realm of masculinity, which is definitely a good thing. The reason why we're in such a dire circumstance, right, in such a just warped state of the world, I think, is through having weak men. Like the old saying goes, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men. And we're coming out of some pretty good times, right? Think of the 90s, economically, everything like that in the U.S. We're comfortable. We're very comfortable. We have very easy, very good times, right? Which led to a lot of weak men. Step number 1, right? First and foremost, the first thing you need to do is follow the best example of a man ever in recorded history. The best example of a man, and that man was Jesus Christ, right? Start with the most important book you will ever read. Jesus Christ, man. That's the best example for what a man should be that we have. If you don't believe, I'm sorry. I used to be the same way. I used to believe you had to be very low IQ to believe in Jesus Christ, to actually believe. But I believe there was something out there, and through the New Age, through all that stuff, you know, I was very lost, and it wasn't until God really humbled me, you know, through life experiences, that I found my way back to Him, and my life changed, right? I used to have hair down to here, bro. Like, I used to paint my nails. I used to just be so freaking emotional all the time. And as men, we're supposed to be the more rational, more stoic, more at peace, right? Logical beings, you know, not so much swayed by emotions, right? Women are swayed more by emotions. They're like, oh, like, how do I feel right now? Like, you know, they'll do things based on how they feel a lot, you know, which is fine if you're a woman, right? But we as men, like, have no business letting our emotions dictate whether we do or don't, right? This should be a cold, calculated, you know, logical process, not completely swayed by our emotions. And I used to not be this way, and I'm still working on on dying to self, right? On killing that little B word, right? I don't want to cuss, but on killing the old and being born again, born new, you know, resurrected, right? Resurrecting that masculinity through biblical principles, through Jesus Christ. And so, if you haven't given your life over to Jesus, I highly recommend reading the book of John. That was the turning point for me, right? I went through a terrible breakup, completely derailed my whole life for this girl, and she just up and left. And it was through that brokenness that I found Christ, and my whole life just changed for the better. All right, so if you haven't given your life to Christ, read the book of John, ask Him, God, if you are real, reveal yourself to me in an undeniable way, right? And just mean it with your heart. Again, I used to think you had to be stupid to believe in God and the Bible and all that stuff, and like, it just made no sense to me, you know. But the more I look into it historically, philosophically, everything. It's all in there, right? Everything you need is in there. And so, for me, what made it click was God saying, because I used to worship like the universe, all the New Age stuff, right? Like, I am the way, the truth, the life. No one gets to the Father except through me, right? So start with the book of John, start with the Bible, and then once you've given your life to Christ, bro, like everything starts to change. He starts purifying you, sanctifying you. He is the best example, right, of what it means to be a man. So start there. First step to becoming a man, right? Give your life to Jesus, right? Based, strong principles, right? That's what Jesus has to offer. So step one to resurrecting your masculinity, giving your life to Jesus, right? We're all sinners, right? Repenting and turning to Christ, right? Repent and believe the Gospels. That's step one, right? The book of Romans tells us, for all have fallen short of the glory of God. We're all sinners. There's not one righteous man, right? There's not even one righteous man in this world, for all have sinned and fallen short of his glory. It's through that love that God made himself man, came down, defeated death, and was reborn so that we could have everlasting life through him, right? That's beautiful, right? We're talking about eternity, right? And a lot of you might be like, okay, well, like, cool, how does that help me now, right? It will, right? We're not called, we're not of this world. Nothing you ever do in this world will ever satisfy you, right? Nothing you ever do on this planet, like, you can have all the money in the world, like, okay, cool, why is there so many millionaires that kill themselves, right? You could have all the Bugattis, you could have all the women, right? It doesn't change the fact that you still feel empty inside, right? You're still chasing that next high, that next chick to, like, There's a lot of confused men in this world that get their validation from the wrong places, right? Oh, you're a man if you make XYZ amount of dollars. Oh, you're a man if you bang this many girls, right? You're a man if you have, like, really expensive, like, fast car, right? Shoot, that's not it, man. Like, right? Like, I don't have it like that, I don't have a bunch of money. I don't have a bunch of fancy cars. I don't have a bunch of women, and, like, honestly, kind of not opposed to the way that things are. The wise man, right? The wise man learns from others' mistakes. The fool learns from his own, right? All the people who have made it to the top, right? You get the Jim Carreys, the Robin Williams, right? You get, like, look at Mac Miller, right? These are dudes who, like, had all the money, all the cars, right? Like, thank God, like, Jim Carrey's still alive. Mac Miller was running away from his life through drugs to the point where he ran away from it forever. Robin Williams unfortunately killed himself, right? You have all these people who've actually, like, achieved to these points of, like, the highest levels of society. They obtained and received everything the world had to offer. And clearly it wasn't enough. Otherwise they'd still be alive. So the most important thing you could do as a man is give your life to Christ. He will fulfill your every desire. He will fill your heart. He will fill whatever void it is that you feel inside. Jesus Christ will satisfy. All right, so that's step one, starting with the basics. Again, that's masculine resurrection. We'll start there.